Today we were going to talk about one of the most iconic jets that is still in use around the world. And it just so happens to also be the most widely operated supersonic jet ever made. So without further ado, let's dive right into talking about this legendary machine known simply as the Fishbed, or the MiG-21. Now, when I first started putting together this episode, I realized pretty quickly that I was have to split it up because there is so much history surrounding this aircraft from its development all the way up through today. So I'm going to do my best to condense down what makes the Fishbed so unique, how it came to be, and then we'll talk about some of the variants that exist around the world today. But before we get into it, I would like to welcome you to War Chronicle. We're a community of people who share a passion for military history and current affairs with a focus on the technology and tactics that have shaped our past, present, and future. So let's start off by talking about the origins of this iconic fighter. The MiG-21, or the MiG-21, as it's more commonly known, is a supersonic jet fighter that was developed by the Soviet Union during the 1950s. It was designed to be a lightweight, fast, and maneuverable fighter that could engage enemy bombers and other aircraft at long ranges. Now, the design team led by Artem Mikoyan and Vladimir Gurevich incorporated several innovative features into the aircraft, including a delta wing design, single-engine layout, and advanced avionics for the time period. In fact, this design was such a departure from previous Soviet designs that it was initially rejected by the Soviet Air Force, as it didn't conform to the rigid specifications they had provided. But after some revisions and modifications were made, the aircraft was accepted into service in 1961. It quickly became one of the most widely operated jet fighters in the world. Alright, so now that we know a little bit about the design and development of the Fishbed, let us take a closer look at some of its technical characteristics and see what made this aircraft so successful. The MiG-21 has a distinctive delta wing shape and is powered by a single turbojet engine. Now, this engine is mounted at the rear of the aircraft with the cockpit located just ahead of it. Its placement allowed for a large amount of fuel to be carried, while still maintaining good handling characteristics. In fact, the design team's intention was to create an aircraft that could fly at Mach 2.2 at 65,000 feet, which is about 84,000 meters, and it certainly accomplished that goal. But not only does this make the Fishbed one of the fastest operational fighter jets in the world, it also allows for rapid ascent rates up to 60,000 feet in just over 5 minutes. The MiG-21 was designed with a number of advanced features for its time, including a radar warning system, a fire control stabilization system, and an ejection seat. It also featured a new type of cockpit that allowed the pilot to easily read instruments, even in bright sunlight, which was a major improvement over previous Soviet aircraft cockpits. Another key feature of the Fishbed was its use of composite materials in its construction. Now, these materials were used in the wings, tail, and fuselage, which helped to reduce the aircraft's weight and increase its fuel efficiency. In fact, the extensive use of composites was so new at the time that special manufacturing techniques had to be developed in order to keep the structure strong and durable. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about the weapons that can be carried by the Fishbed. The MiG-21 was designed to carry a variety of air-to-air and air-to-air and air-to-air round weapons. Now, the aircraft's primary role was as an interceptor, meaning it was intended to engage enemy bombers and other aircraft at high altitudes. As such, it was equipped with long-range missiles that could reach out and intercept enemy aircraft before they could enter Soviet airspace. The Fishbed could carry up to 4 long-range missiles on its underwing hardpoints, as well as 2 short-range missiles on the additional under-fuselage hardpoints. These missiles could be used to engage enemy aircraft, as well as surface-to-air missiles, which would help defend against incoming attacks from enemy bombers. Additionally, the Fishbed could carry various types of bombs, including high-explosive, fragmentation, and incendiary bombs. So, now that we've covered some of the technical aspects of the MiG-21, let's talk a little bit about its combat history and its use in modern warfare. The Fishbed has been involved in a number of conflicts throughout its history, including the Vietnam War, the Six-Day War, and the Yom Kippur War. During these conflicts, it was primarily used in a ground support role, providing air cover for friendly ground forces and engaging enemy troops and vehicles. And since I mentioned the Vietnam War, I'd love to hear from anybody out there who may have family members or friends who flew the Fishbed during that conflict. But moving on, The Fishbed's performance in these conflicts showed that it was a highly capable and effective aircraft that could hold its own against the latest American jets. Despite its small size and relatively light weight, the Fishbed proved to be a formidable opponent, and its pilots earned a reputation for their skill and bravery. In more recent conflicts, such as the Syrian civil war, the Fishbed has continued to be used in a variety of roles, including air superiority, ground support, and reconnaissance.
Oh.
Despite being an aging design, the Fishbed has held its own against newer, more advanced aircraft such as the Syrian Air Force's Russian-built Su-25s and MiG-29s, and it continues to be a vital part of the Syrian Air Force's arsenal. And one of the reasons for the longevity of this aircraft is the relatively low cost of maintenance and operation compared to newer aircraft. This makes it an attractive option for countries with limited budgets, such as Syria, where the Fishbed has been used extensively in the ongoing civil war. The Fishbed has also been used by a number of other countries, including Egypt, India, Israel, Iran, Iraq, Libya, Mongolia, North Korea, Poland, Romania, Slovakia, Ukraine, and the United States. In fact, the U.S. bought the rights to produce the Fishbed under license in the 1960s and built more than 700 of them. Now, while the Fishbed has been widely exported, it has also undergone a number of upgrades and modernization programs to keep it competitive with newer aircraft. One of the most notable upgrades is the addition of new engines, which have improved the aircraft's performance and handling characteristics. Another upgrade that's been widely adopted is the replacement of the original radar systems with more modern, advanced systems, which have improved the Fishbed's ability to detect and engage enemy aircraft. Additionally, many operators have upgraded the Fishbed's weapon systems to include more modern and effective munitions. For example, some versions of the Fishbed are now equipped with air-to-surface missiles, which expand its ground attack capabilities. So what does the future hold for the Fishbed? Despite its age, the Fishbed remains a capable and effective fighter jet that can hold its own against newer, more advanced aircraft. Its low cost of maintenance and operation make it an attractive option for countries with limited budgets. And it's likely that the Fishbed will continue to be used in a variety of combat and non-combat roles for many years to come. But that just about wraps things up for this episode. I'd like to thank each and every one of you out there for taking the time to watch. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider subscribing so you never miss an upload. I'll see you again next time.